All right, it's the penultimate episode of the randomizer this season, and we had to bring in the big guns for this one. He's the new man on the scene. It is, of course, Greg Branos, aka the Coachspeak Index. I did a Best Ball After Dark with him earlier this offseason, got to know him. And since then, things have exploded. Greg is everywhere. He's doing karaoke streams. And I said, this man is the perfect guest for the randomizer. So we had to get him on here. The wheel is packed with all kinds of fun prompts. For those of you guys who are new around here, this is what's going to happen. We are going to do an 18-round underdog draft, just like we always would. But this is a private league. Don't worry, we're not destroying your Best Ball Mania contest. And before every single pick, we're going to spin a wheel. There's prompts, there's challenges. We're going to make him sing. We're going to make him dance. And we'll see what kind of team he can draft, provided he can accomplish some of these challenges. I'm Pete Overzet. This is the randomizer. Let's do it.
Kyle Pitts, can you do something for me? Can you score a couple of touchdowns for me?
Green was the color of the grass where I used to read at Centennial Park.
We're going tight end in the early round.
What? Oh!
We had to resize.
Mom, okay, don't say anything weird.
Welcome to the randomizer. Pete, take it away.
All right, here we are, second to last randomizer episode, and look at you, just looking so good. What is how would you describe your aesthetic? Because it pops. Like, how would you describe your style there, Greg?
Former cult member trying to find his way in the world.
And it's like, there's I remember in like college, like I had a bunch of friends who dressed pretty hip and they did it a lot through like thrift stores and stuff. But your stuff looks like more designer than it does thrift store to me.
I'm a big Lacoste guy. I've been trying to get a Lacoste sponsorship for many years now.
Yeah.
Maybe this will tip us over the top. I just keep wearing bigger and bigger Lacoste logos.
Maybe you should just like, do you know the comedian Joe Mandy?
Yeah. Love Joe Mandy.
Yeah, so he did a bit back in the day where he just like forced himself as the LaCroix sponsor to where they eventually had to send a cease and desist. Maybe you should just brand the Coachspeak Index as presented by Lacoste.
Doing it.
I love it. Yeah, that was such a good bit. Back when Joe Mandy used to have fun on the internet, and then I think he found it to be a toxic hellscape and then stopped posting online.
Yeah, we're all worse off for it.
He also was one of the first people to do that, the bit where he bought followers to get to 1 million followers just because he thought it would be funny to have 1 million followers. So that was the good old days of Twitter. Although I feel like you're part of a Twitter renaissance, at least for fantasy football. I feel like you make Twitter feel like a must-have for people who are playing fantasy seriously.
Yeah, you hear that, Elon? Here's another sponsorship we can line up here. If I leave Twitter, your entire shit crumbles, bro.
There you go. There you go. But I will say though, since and I here a couple of little promos, I did just drop in the link in both the Discord and the chat. If you guys want to draft with us, we got a few spots remaining. But you've taken some of the stuff behind the paywall, making the people pay for that good intel. How's it been going with the Discord here?
Going well. I think we launched about 3 weeks ago and have somewhere in the 120 members range right now, and some very, very sharp people in there. With all the stuff that I'm putting in there, I can't put all that stuff on Twitter. It's so many notes from these press conferences, and people will probably end up, unfollowing if I keep posting stuff about undrafted free agent tight end David Martin Robinson in there, or Martin David Robinson, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of just super crucial info. I needed to put a log of it somewhere. I was just going to do it on my own and thought, well, why not have separate team threads for every team? And that way you can just scroll down if it's time for your drafts or whatever, and you want to get a feel of a wide receiver room or whatever. I did that today with Washington once they shipped out Jahan Dotson. And I knew I'd put a lot of stuff in there about Dan Quinn talking about all these other receivers, and thought, why don't I take a look back and see who he was kind of talking about the most, and that ended up being De'Ami Brown.
It wasn't there like a little breadcrumb even in the Commanders coach speak where it was like Jahan Dotson wasn't playing well, but then there was like a last gasp of like positivity, or maybe they ran him a lot in that second preseason game. It was almost like there was a red herring, like this doesn't look great, but we're gonna like make it seem like it's okay.
Yeah, he got a bunch of snaps.
Yeah, I know people sometimes have one thing with the link I've noticed, if you can sometimes like send it to yourself via email, I've noticed that works. I know there's sometimes weird quirks with that share link for some reason. There are 3 spots available here. Greg, have you noticed a difference like this year, even between last year, as far as like the intensity with which people are consuming, fantasy football information?
I mean, maybe it's, it seems like a lot more, but I also have a lot more followers now too, right?
True.
And it just yeah, it's really snowballing. But it does seem like training camp is much crazier this year than it was last year.
Yeah, and it just seems like every year, because there's so many, and maybe it's just in my bubble, our bubble, the intensity around best ball and more people having skin in the game, that there's like added intensity. Like every news report, every snap count is like hyper scrutinized in a way that definitely wasn't happening a couple of years ago.
And best ball is much bigger this year, I think, than it was last year. So as best ball continues to grow, then I think the community will as well.
Well, we are underway here in this draft. We got the 1-9. You were mentioning on the show, or before we went live, you've been doing the karaoke streams, and like the randomizer, you always hope to get a middle slot. So, you're not as pressed for time. So how do you feel about the 1-9 here?
Well, 1-9 is not bad. It's the first 2 and the last 2 that really kind of you don't want, because it'll be a little more boring.
So I'm about to spin the wheel here. It'll be the first of 18 spins. I gave the same PSA last week. We don't got the 20-second clocks here. It's the 30-second. Make us feel the heat. Make me tell you guys I need some time. I think the randomizer is at its best when we are ripping the picks and we are in full chaos mode. So that's my PSA. And with that said, let's get underway here with the randomizer. Starting off with the Coachspeak Colt Index. Greg names his top 3 NFL coaches for Colt leaders he'd follow if he had to, with the rationale, or draft Nathan Peterman. Who's got that Colt gene in them in the NFL, Greg?
I'm following Dan Campbell. He's gonna bite kneecaps of whoever our opponent is, whether it's the devil or whoever. He's a strong leader. I will follow him into the dark like I'm Ben Gibbard. Number 2, Kyle Shanahan. Just a cool dude in a culture, hanging out a lot with people, and you got to have a cool cult leader that you want to hang around with. So that is number 2. Number 3, you know what? Number 3, dark horse here, Mike McDonald. This guy can scheme up against the enemy's harshest attacks. You will be safe with Mike McDonald, no matter what comes. If it's the earth opening up, if it's a zombie apocalypse, Mike McDonald, you are safe with that man.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've heard a lot. In Mike McDonald's, like, he's still a little mysterious, right? He's a young guy on the scene. You don't quite know his MO, which I think you need that aura of mystery for a cult leader. All right, you get to pick whoever you want, and then we are going to spin right away for the next pick.
All right, is Brees gone?
Brees is gone. It's the wide receivers then down to the Gibbs-Taylor tier.
Okay, let's do A.J. Brown.
Yeah, we'll take A.J. Brown here, and then we will quickly spin and see what we got on tap. These turn ones we're going to actually really feel the heat today, so we will spin right away. Oh, boy. I remember seeing this one. The Coachspeak Index. I need to put Sky Moore in the queue, and Greg must make a Coachspeak chart before the next pick for Pete, with categories of Greg's choice to draft who he wants here. Greg, do you got something you could spit up for us?
Yeah, hold on a second.
I think Greg might have seen this one online before. I was worried if you would have enough time to pull this off.
Do I need to do a screen share, or I can text it to you?
Sure. Yeah, you can either screen share it to me, or if you want to DM it to me.
I'll DM it to you.
Okay. All right. Coachspeak chart for Pete. Sky Moore, I'm trying to move on from that. This is supposed to be the redemption year. We all drafted a bunch of Xavier Worthy. Okay. This is my first time seeing this. Let me get this pulled up on screen here. Peter Overzet, the Deposit Kingdom. What if Peter Pan played best ball? Scrolling down, I'm trustworthy. Coffee pours. Wow, only in the yellow. I thought I would be better there. Value hounding, yes. Strong marks there. God give me. Oh no, the Jalen McMillian mush. That's why I get low scores.
I got a grudge with you.
How much Jalen McMillian do you have?
He's my highest owned player. It's north of 30%. I want to say it's around 33%.
Oh my goodness. So you were one of the aggrieved, one of the people in the class action lawsuit against big ship chasing.
Oh yeah. When the airing of grievances comes this Festivus, you're mine, Pete.
Oh man. Well, you know what? You don't have to take Sky Moore because of that beautiful Photoshop there. Who would you like to take? JT, Nico, Barkley, Waddle, Achan, Olave?
Let's go Nico.
Nico, it is. Who's your most drafted player in the early rounds?
In the early, oh man, let me pull this up real quick. I know I have a lot of Breece Hall. I want to say he's my highest owned in the first round. Early rounds. Yeah, I got Devonta Smith 18%. That seems to be my highest, like, first 3 rounds guy.
Sorry, who is it?
Devonta Smith, 18%. That's my highest guy that's going in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, are you always trying to get him with CeeDee Lamb for a little week 17, or you'll take him in any way?
I'll take him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think he's a really strong pick as well. Anything with the I saw some people panicking about, oh no, is Jahan Dotson going to steal away from these two? What was your take on the trade?
He's definitely not going to steal from AJ Brown or Devonta Smith or Dallas Goedert. I mean, that triumvirate, Nick Sirianni talks about them all the time. Like, this is who our offense funnels through is these 3 guys. The Eagles don't really use their wide receiver 3 that much, but again, they haven't had a great wide receiver 3. Like, Jahan Dotson's probably the best one that they've had now in a while. And I just don't think he's super involved. It's bad for him. Bad for my bags.
Yeah. All right, we are going to spin here and see what we got next. I think this is a trivia one, if I recall correctly. Greg the Leg, a little homage to another Greg. Greg must guess the career longest field goal for Greg Zuerlein, plus or minus 2.5 yards, or draft a Greg. I'll let you kind of talk it out here. You still got some time before we're on the clock to think through this prompt.
Yeah, he had some really long ones. I don't think he ever had a 60-yarder, but I'm pretty sure he kicked a 57-yarder at least. So I feel like I'm safe if I go 59. I'm going to say 59.
That is an awesome guess. You are in the window of getting this right. It was 61 yards. So that 59 being on the high side there, that was perfect because you were like wrong on him not going for 60, but you knew to be on the upper side of it just in case.
Yeah. All about windows. I've bet a lot.
All right. You are on the clock. Sorry, it's only 8 seconds, but you do get to pick Henry, Pacheco, Diggs, Pittman, Allen, Laporta.
Ooh.
Quick.
Let's go Pacheco.
Okay, let me see if I can. Sorry. I was trying. It literally timed out. I gave you Diggs at the last second.
I forgot we have Nico. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. You know what? It was I should have gotten over there quicker. You can add that to my reliability index, not giving you enough time to pick. Yeah, Pacheco, his rise in ADP he's been on a rocket ship lately.
I mean, if he's a 3-down back for them in that offense.
Okay, this is a multimedia one here. This is called Big Brainos. Put the next 3 Panthers in reverse ADP order in the queue. Greg must identify which of the pair of animals on screen that I'm going to pull up here has the bigger brain on average by mass. Clear the top queued for each correct response. So this is what we're going to do. First, I'm going to put these Panthers in, and I believe it was in reverse order, the next 3. So it would be Carolina. So this would be Chuba, Jonathan Brooks, Deontay Johnson, and here are the animals. We have a humpback whale versus an elephant. We have a gorilla versus a polar bear. And we have a sheep versus a baboon. And after you guess, I will pull up the answer. So which one, to reiterate, which of the pair has the bigger brain on average by mass? Who you got in the whale versus the elephant?
I'm going to take elephant.
Okay. Well, I'll show the answers at the end here. Gorilla versus polar bear.
I'm going to go polar bear.
And sheep versus baboon.
I'll take sheep.
Well, Greg, you know your animals. You know ball. You are correct.
Whoa!
Elephant. Look at this, 4,783 grams to 4,675. The polar bear, 500 to 465. I thought this sheep one was almost a little bit of a trick question. 140 to 135. You nailed it. You don't have to take a panther. They are all gone. Who would you like to take?
Incredible.
Henry, Allen, Hertz, Etienne, Rashi.
Let's go Rashi.
Yep. We're going to bring him on, another guy on an absolute ADP rocket ship here. Where are you at? Suspension or no suspension in 2024?
I mean, every day we go now, it's a lower chance of him getting suspended. I mean, obviously the disaster scenario would be, oh, he's out for weeks 15, 16, and 17. But it doesn't seem super likely at this point.
Yeah. And it is interesting because like some of the ADPs, right, are like sticky. You take Jawan Johnson, right, who's off the injury list, but like his ADP hasn't really budged. But then Rashee Rice, it's like we don't even have definitive news, and he is just rocketing up boards. It's kind of weird how those movements work.
Yeah, and I think often about like how is my 4th round Rashee Rice team doing against people that drafted him like 2 months ago in Best Ball Mania?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not super worried about it. I think too, like you look at a 2v2 and it's like, okay, yeah, there's some teams that have him at like 64, and now like I don't know, who could that be? Like a Chris Godwin. So then it's like, could your Chris Godwin and whatever running back they take versus their Rashee Rice and whatever running back, like you could still win that 2v2. Like that's not an impossible thing to happen.
Yeah, I was very curious what he would look like in the Chiefs offense this year, because last year they didn't have any actual legitimate deep threats, and they did that really low ADOT stuff. And this year they have 2 deep threats, and they've been talking about how they want to go deep. They've been doing it a bunch in practice. All the coaches are talking about it. Patrick Mahomes is talking about it. So, just wondering, well, how much can Rice actually get in him and Kelsey in the intermediate game? But like maybe it just opens up that intermediate game even more for those two, and they just smash at an unbelievable level. Like this entire offense, like how does Patrick Mahomes not win MVP this season?
It looks insane when you look across the personnel. And you see what Rashee did last year, you see what Xavier Worthy's doing, and then it's almost like Travis Kelce is an afterthought to the excitement of this offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are going to spin again here as we head into the 5th round. Greg is on fire here, and it looks like we have a little nod to the French here. The Coachspeak Index. Can you name 3 current or former NFL players with French names or draft Luis Rees-Zammit?
Oh, Sigmund.
Yeah, this comes from our friend Sigmund.
Pierre Garçon.
Oh, that's a very good one.
Count for 2. Pierre and Garçon.
Yeah.
Pierre Thomas.
Wow, another Pierre. Good job.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Okay, you're on fire. You're just sticking with the Pierre. Pierre Strong. Yeah.
Wow. Zach Charbonnet.
I like that. Is that seriously? Man, Pierre Strong Jr. in here. You already passed with flying colors though. Who would you like? James Cook, Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, Jaden Reed, Kyle Pitts, Rashad White, Walker, Joe Mixon.
Let's go. Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Yeah, where are you at? I assume you're.
No. Oh no.
You changed your mind?
I changed my mind in the last second, but it's
Oh,
all right.
no.
It's all
Who
right.
did you want? Or don't say it. Maybe they'll come back to you.
Yeah.
These guys would want to snipe you if they knew who you wanted to take. Okay, this one we're gonna get. I believe this is gonna be a little improv from you here. Open mic night. We know you've done some open mic. And your topic is pets. And we can talk this out loud. Greg must write a joke, or it could be a little short story about pets that he workshops to the chat. You fail and you draft a week 17 bring back to this team so far. Can you start spitballing a little joke about pets?
All right. So dogs are a man's best friend, right? We all love. When I think about a best friend, I think about someone that's constantly licking their own asshole and leaving their hair all over my furniture and waking me up in the middle of the night asking or just begging to go out. Shitting wherever they want in my house. That's what I think of when I think of a best friend.
So, and what you're saying is, we need to raise the bar for what it means to be a best friend, because if dogs truly are, they're not meeting the mark.
Yeah, they're bad friends. They're not best friends. They're worst friends. Dogs are worst friends.
They're not sending us texts on our birthday. They're not taking us out for drinks. I feel like those are the things good friends do. These dogs, man, whoever does big PR for dogs in this man's best friend thing, they crush that.
When's the last time a dog helped you move?
No. And they'd probably complain about throwing out their back doing it, even if they did. All right. Did your guy happen to come back here?
Let's go Kenneth Walker.
Okay. No, he just went. Oh, he just went. Yes. Rashad
right.
White, Godwin, Mixon.
Rashad. Yeah.
Who was the guy you wanted when you changed your mind on Pitts?
Well, no, it was just I like being able to get Kittle later if I'm able to, and I didn't realize that it was a little bit before 60 there.
Yes,
that was actually on me.
Well, the Kittle ADP is weird, right? Because like you'll get in these rooms where people want tight ends, and like he'll sometimes go 5-6, or like he'll fall all the way to like the 6-7 turn, and you can never bank on like if you for sure can get him, and if you get him at a value, it feels incredible. But if you miss on him, and then you're like, shit, I kind of wish I would have taken one earlier.
Yeah. How have you been approaching tight ends this year? You're a big elite tight end guy, right?
Yeah, big elite tight end, but also big Brock Bowers. Is kind of how I've been doing it. Although, what's the latest on Brock with this foot injury? Are we concerned?
I don't think we should be concerned. Antonio Pierce said yesterday at his presser that they're just being precautionary with him, and he also lumped him in with another rookie, saying like, "Hey, the rookies they've been, working out and doing the combine and everything since December." And we're just taking precautions here. So it sounds like he'll be ready for week 1. But again, only a 60% reliability rating on injury coach speak thus far. Small sample size, but not great. With him, with Antonio Pierce, I think his thing with injury coach speak is he just kind of, if a guy is in a day-to-day bucket or shorter side of week to week, his mindset is, like we just power through it, right? Max Crosby plays on a broken leg every week last year, or blood clots, whatever the situation with him, and arm amputated. Max Crosby's out there, so that's kind of how Antonio Pierce thinks it should be for every guy.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where it's probably shouldn't change things too much, but it's just like you don't want any hurdles for a rookie. You just want everything to be perfect. All right, Cardboard Kings. Greg must bring back a sports card of his choosing before the next pick or draft De'Aaron King. He saw this prompt and is already off to the races. I'll have Greg refresh my memory on this, but he worked at a sports card shop. I'm going to put De'Aaron King in the queue just in case here. And Greg is a renaissance man. The number of professions and side gigs and hustles this man has had is truly wild. I feel comfortable calling him the most interesting man in fantasy sports. He's lived a few different lives here. he's also been on the go in different locations. He was in Paris, he was in LA, he's in Vegas. So I want to know, does he carry around these cards with him, or now that he's back at his home base, is he back by his collection? I think I still have some cards to unpack at some point. Back like in the COVID days when it was happening in tandem alongside the digital card phenomena. All right, what do we got here? Oh, what is this? A LeBron James bingo card?
It's a LeBron James Uno edition with his signature on there.
Wow. And is this is this pulled from a real pack, or was this maybe improvised on the fly?
I bought it on the street here in France from some guy at the beach.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay. You almost had me for a second. Chat, are we going to allow this? I think we have to allow it for creativity sake here. You're on the clock. Who do you want? 10 seconds, or you're going to take De'Aaron King?
J-Mo.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to allow it. It does look rare there. Tell the people about, as I spin here, what did you use? You used to work at a card shop in Vegas, right?
Yeah. It was based out of it was like at home type thing. And it's just card breaking. Most of the spots were sold on eBay. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, well, we'll spin here, and then we can hear more about the cards. This is called Greg Lamos. Greg must recount the worst coach press conference joke he had to analyze for Coachspeak Index or draft David Njoku. Yeah, let us know who is the least funny, guy. I guess this falls into the bucket if they're trying to be funny and fail.
Yeah, I mean, this is Mike McDaniel just a lot at the beginning of his press conferences, and does not usually land. He's about, I mean, not many of them try to be funny. Matt LaFleur yesterday chewed out a guy who came late to the press conference.
Really?
He said you know the rules. You show up late, you don't come in. But he was joking, and he did a really good acting job with it. Mike McDaniel is probably because he takes so many swings, right? You're just inevitably, like, even the best stand-up has shows where they just absolutely bomb.
Wasn't there one like when he was overseas in Germany and he just completely bombed?
Yeah, and he did it walking up to the podium. Like that's his thing. You start yourself off in a hole and dig your way out of it.
All right, Mike McDaniel gets the story for bombing award here. You got 1 running back, 5 wide receivers, 1 tight end on the clock. Who do you want here?
Oh God. I mean, I guess we have to go Kamara.
You don't have to do anything, Greg. This is America.
Stroud's not available, is he?
No, he's not.
Let's do Aaron Jones.
Okay. We'll put Aaron Jones in the mix. I did want to circle back to the J-Mo pick. He has been one of those guys where it's like heading into the year, I'm like, I'm not going to get burned by this guy again. And then every single presser, Dan Campbell just going out of his way to talk glowingly. I take it you're buying the bounce back here.
Yeah, for sure. Because he hasn't always talked about Jameson Williams glowingly. This changed at the end of last season. And that's also when his role began to change. He started playing a career high number of snaps, or career high number of targets and catches and yards. And it also coincides with Matt Harmon's reception perception work on Jameson Williams last season, where you see in before October, it's like really bad. And then after mid-October, he charts pretty well there. And Dan Campbell isn't a guy to just talk somebody up. What he says is what he actually believes and what he sees. He's one of the most blunt, straightforward coaches in the league. We've heard him talk about Donovan Peoples-Jones this year. Not great what he's saying about him. Heard him talk about the other day Khalif Raymond in the wide receiver 3 spot in Detroit, saying, hey, these guys need to step up, or else Khalif Raymond is going to have to play 65 snaps a game, which we don't want him to do. So very, very straightforward guy. And I would love to hear some more questions because we haven't really heard any in about a month or so on JMO. It'd be good to know what his standing is with Campbell.
Yeah. And it is one of those things too, where it's like, if all of the good outcomes happen for the Lions, right? Where it's like Amon-Ra stays Amon-Ra, like Laporta and Gibbs, like there's still a leap that those guys can make. And JMO is who they are saying he is. Like that offense is going to be terrifyingly good.
Buzzsaw offense.
Yeah. So it feels like something has to give within there, but yeah, I've been paying attention. I've come around on it. Like it's been too resounding, and it's not like Dan Campbell's one to be disingenuous, right? Like he seems pretty honest.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Best ball karaoke. Sing Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You" in honor of ship chasing, ruining Jalen McMillian's, or we have to draft him here. Can I find us a karaoke track? Okay, here. Can you hear this?
I can't.
Okay, let me I believe if I share it as a tab as opposed to window, I can. How about now?
Yeah, no, I can't. Remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass by. If not for
So sorry, everyone. That we had. Smiling in the sun.
I feel your warmth on me. I wanna be
You want
remember. I can't see anything.
Romeo Dobbs, Joshua Palmer, Javonte Williams, Brian Robinson, Caleb Williams.
Brian Robinson. For me. Don't let your life pass you by. If not for the memory.
Incredible stuff there. I would like to apologize. And you said, was that before we went on, or you told me? No, it was during the Coachspeak part. You said he was your most drafted wide receiver.
Yeah, he is. Pull that up.
So
31%.
So then this is what it is, right? Because I mean, you've been covering all of the reports like every single day. It's a Jalen McMillian highlight. It's Jalen McMillian Coachspeak. What wins out here? The resounding Coachspeak or the ship chasing mega curse? What powerful thing here wins out?
Pete, I don't know if you believe that all of us were placed on Earth for a specific reason or purpose, but I was placed on this earth to break the ship chasing curse. And I will do it this year with Jalen McMillian.
Thank you. What do you with McMillian, are you banking on early season production? Do you think it's going to come at the expense of like Godwin and Evans? How do you actually see it shaking out from a fantasy perspective?
So Tampa Bay, the last few years, they've run a really high rate of 11 personnel with different offensive coordinators. But then we get Liam Cohen now, who comes from the Sean McVay tree. They run the most 11 personnel in the NFL. I think we're going to see a lot of 11. They've talked about wanting to bump Chris Godwin back into the inside. Jalen McMillian has versatility to play all three positions. We've heard the offensive coordinator and the head coach say that. So he's going to be on the field a ton, and that's all that we need. We just need the opportunity. We don't need him to go for 1,500 yards this year. He's going to have usable weeks.
That's what I like to hear, but we're going to have to pick up the pace here really quickly. Coachspeak Fashion Index. Chat names a team before the next pick. Greg must dress like a coach he covers on that team or draft a player. Can we get a Ron Rivera? Can we get a Ron Rivera?
Oh my God.
Let's see here. I guess it would be like just a polo here, a little pullover. Maybe a Blazer. Oh man, we're going to be cutting this one close. Willis, thank you for bleeding the clock here. Ron Rivera was the first one I saw. This is going to be hard for Greg because his wardrobe is so eclectic that just finding something that's pretty normie, I think here. Okay, I like that. Wow, you pulled this off. Normie, Rod Rivera there. I like that. Who would you like to take?
Let's do. How are we doing on running back?
Javonte. You got 3 running backs.
Javonte.
Yeah, let's grab Javonte here. Yeah, so I'll do a quick recap of the team so you know. You got 4 running backs: Rachaad White, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Javonte. You got your 5 wide receivers: AJ Brown, Nico, Stephon Diggs, Rashee Rice, and Jamison Williams, and tight end Kyle Pitts here.
We have any week 17 correlation whatsoever.
Well, I will say, you know, I like drafting in the spirit of Best Ball Mania. This is a self-contained league that's going to span 17 weeks that pays out $20 to first. So if you don't have all the week 17 correlations, you might be able to survive here. Which coach would you say has the most style?
Most style, yeah. I mean, that has to be Mike McDaniel. He's wearing like a $100,000 watch. He's got the cocaine kingpin look going on now. He's saying hello to his little friends.
Yeah, what was that? I saw him at the press. He looked like he was a character out of Uncut Gems at the press conference yesterday.
Very Howie Ratner.
Yeah, let's see this. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw someone saying he already looks like a Miami Coke dealer after living there for just less than a decade. Incredible.
I'm surprised he doesn't have like a tattoo sleeve.
I know.
I think that's coming next.
He's definitely one of those guys that was like such a nerd and then has just reached his like glow up phase. It does seem like he'll go through that midlife crisis where he's like, you know what? Yeah, we'll get a full sleeve here.
Yeah.
All right, let's spin here. We're through 10 rounds. And I don't believe, I guess maybe the chat can let me know. Is there one I should have graded harder? But I believe Greg has passed all of these prompts yet. Hasn't had to have a punishment pick yet. Let's see if we can get him. All right, the Coachspeak Index. This comes to us from Nuts1022 on Twitter. Greg gives his best Arthur Smith impersonation or drafts Cordero Patterson. Let's bring Arthur Smith to the podium. Let us know about the QB battle out there today. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Who do we think is going to be the week 1 starter here, Greg? I mean, Arthur.
Trying to make my eyes as dead as possible first. It's a competition. It's there's a lot of days to go yet. The game doesn't kick off tomorrow. I know people want to know for the fantasy football teams, but that's not the way that we operate. This is the NFL. This is the National Football League. And I mean, I don't know why we have to keep getting the same questions every day. It's every time I come up here, it's Russell. Is it Justin? We have other players on this team, and that's all that we're focused on is just putting the best players out there, which will definitely include Cordero Patterson for at least 13 touches per game. And then the QB, well, you'll just see. You'll just have to see on Sunday.
Yeah, one other question for you, Arthur. The rookie, Roman Wilson, how is he progressing in camp?
I'm actually not familiar with that name or any of the other receivers besides
the guy you guys drafted pretty early in this NFL draft and really need wide receivers, that guy?
Oh, yeah, again, like it's just tight ends and running backs for me and George.
All right, Arthur, I can't deal with this shit, but you do get to pick because that was a brilliant impersonation here. Do you want to get Goff stacked up with J-Mo?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I figured you might want a quarterback here, get him right past ADP. Arthur Smith not knowing who Roman Wilson is in the range of outcomes, I feel like, very much.
Sure.
Oh my God. Yes, trying to make my eyes as dead as possible. All right, here we go. Let's spin. Do you get excited? Like there was a point last year where Arthur was saying so much absurd stuff. Do you look forward to his press conferences?
Yeah, absolutely. Him, Dennis Allen.
All right, This is an ongoing bit here where we troll the Nick Rudman for his infamous leg day skippage. Greg must at the Nick Rudman and grade his leg day usage workload using the Coachspeak Index account or draft a thick running back here. Are you willing to troll Nick Rudman here?
What's his handle? At Nick Rudman?
At Nick Rudman. Are you familiar? Do you know who Rudman is?
I do. The underdog guy, right?
Yes. All right. Greg must at the Nick Rudman and grade his leg day usage workload. Let's see what you cook up here. Basically Rudman's getting increasingly frustrated with us. So really lean into this. I should go see
Nick Rudman, is that right?
Yeah, at the Nick Rudman.
Oh, the Nick Rudman. Okay, I was about to blast a different dude.
No. You got a little bit of time. You're good here. I gotta find Rudman's last reply to us. Where is he? We've now gotten to the point where about once a week he comes after us. I mean, granted, we've provoked him. Did you fire off the tweet?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, here was one from August 18th. Crying, screaming, puking during leg day this morning. Deposit Kingdom suckbags are still laying in bed reading about their precious little fantasy football. See if who was the last who did we have last week that troll? Oh yeah, here's Sam. So last week Sam said you could look like this if you stop skipping leg day. Okay, this is targeted harassment. I hate you people. Let's see what Coachspeak had. Oh, you're on the clock. I'm going to check the tweet in a second. Eckler, Mike Williams, Schultz, Darnell Mooney, Ty Chandler, Herbert, Hawkinson, Kirk. You want Kirk with Pitts?
Yeah. Let's do Kirk and Pitts.
Okay. All right. Let me go back and see what we said to our friend Nick Rudman here. And see what he's going to shove us in a locker for this week. Nick Rudman has 0% reliability rating on leg day workload. Do not draft him in your corporate fantasy league this year. He's an absolute zero. Damn string bean legs out there. Oh, man. Rudman really is going to snap my head off for this show. Go show some support to this tweet. I will drop it in the chat here so everyone can go. Damn, the string bean legs out there. He is going to be furious, and I love it. Oh man, have you been enjoying? I know you got the sponsorship with Underdog. Has it been working out well for you this year?
Yeah, I had a sponsorship up until the show. Yeah, no, it's been great. Josh Norris and Hayden Winks were the first ones to shout out the Coachspeak Index when I had about 300-400 followers, and just really cool for it to all come full circle like this.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and you've added a lot this off season, between the Discord, the podcast, the YouTube. Are you enjoying kind of the sprawling nature of the Coachspeak Index empire?
I'm definitely enjoying the growth. The workload is really pressing me right now. It's 80 hours per week from training camp up until January when the regular season ends. But this is this is how you build something. So
beautiful.
Yeah, can't wait to add beat writer index possibly here soon.
Are you referencing the Falcons projection guy?
Yeah, and I'm not even joking about this. This is a very serious thing that I'm exploring now.
Yeah, I think it's legitimately valuable because they all get right now. I do think people take a lot of what is said as gospel, and some of the bad ones can be like, yeah, I'll take that as truth, which it was like literally a simple math problem that guy was failing as far as how many carries were possible. And which was so funny too, right? Because he could have just said a 60-40 split. No one's going to call bullshit. At least that you can't check the math on that, right? But to actually do the numbers, and it's like, no. Now you're out in front of your skis.
every drive is going to be a 20 play drive. They'll get the ball right back on the next play with a pick or a fumble.
All right, we have another prompt here. Let's see. Coachspeak Charades. Greg describes the player he wants to draft in the way their coach would describe the player at the podium. If Pete guesses the player correctly, draft him. Otherwise, select Jordan Whittington. So I'm going to pull up the draft board here. Let me know if you want me to go to a specific position or if you already see the guy.
Okay.
I'll scroll down a little.
Let's look at wide receivers real quick.
Yep.
Okay. Can I see how many running backs we have again?
Yeah, you're at 4 running backs, starting with Rachaad White.
Actually, it's oh fuck. All right.
You got to start describing. We got 20 seconds. I got to put Whittington in the queue in case we don't.
Yeah, he's just really big, and you know, second year. Can I say this? Big target. You know, Tom Hanks loved this guy.
Wait, is it Michael Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay, Wilson. Okay, we did. I think the chat might say it's tweeting or it's cheating to do the second year, because that was definitely what got me on the set.
I deserve Jordan Whittington.
People said Rudman responded. Are we doing randomizer at 4 p.m.? Get a life.
Oh man.
There we go. Let the people know we're live here. Get a life. I appreciate that. Nick Rudman's head. This deserves to be a night show. No, I appreciate everyone accommodating the early start today. I will also mention the finale next week, the fantasy feud between Team ETR and Team Ship Chasing. That'll also be a 3 p.m. show. And I'm going to have to figure out a way to troll Nick Rudman with that one. All right, it's Miller time. Greg puts on his Dennis Allen cap and berates Peter's highest exposure player on Underdog. If successful, draft whoever. Otherwise, draft Kendre Miller. All right, I'm going to go over right now and look at my exposure, and we're going to see who the highest player is. Okay, it's the Frenchman, Zach Charbonnet. If you want to roast me for Troy Franklin, that's probably an easier roast. But one of those two, throw your Greg hat on or your Dennis Allen cap on and berate me.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, he's number 2 for a reason, you know. We know who number 1 is. We've been talking about it the entire training camp. We've been leaking reports of who we want to feed this year, and I mean, he'll get his chance down the road. He's just got to catch my eye. He hasn't caught my eye yet, and he's number 2 because the guy in front of him catches our eye more than he does. He's not your typical eye catcher, and to have that many bags of him at this point is that's not on me. That's somebody else's problem. Okay,
Dennis, I mean, what about the contingent upside, man? Every year we see a Seattle, the second back explodes when the other one gets hurt. Come on.
Yeah, everybody's got contingent upside. That's the one thing everybody falls back on. Oh yeah, he's not a bad pick because of contingent upside. That you can say that for 250 players.
Jeez, Dennis, can you just smile for once in your goddamn life? Just for once. Who do you want, Dennis? You're on the clock. 12 seconds.
DeMario Douglas.
All right, let's do it. I mean, is it like, I think, was it your quote retweet that you said like your takeaway is that he is not going to have a job ever again in the NFL after this?
Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't have gotten this job. He was terrible with Vegas or with the Raiders.
It's so wild too, because like you think about, well, like the Raiders last year, right? When the locker room turned on Josh McDaniel, and then you saw how stoked they were to play for Antonio Pierce. And it's like, are players in New Orleans, like, are they stoked to play for this guy? When they see him filleting their teammates, do they like that? Like, that can't be good for camaraderie.
He's just constantly throwing players under the bus, man. And I mean, you look at what happened last year in the Atlanta game with Jameis and Jamal Williams, you know, just bucking against what Dennis Allen wanted and saying, you know, fuck it, we're gonna run this ball in for a touchdown. They just don't respect him. And
yeah,
we can all see why.
Yeah. It's a weird dynamic. Yeah. Just even from like a because it's so many times like the coaches, we get mad at them for like acting in self-interest where it's like they're just trying to protect their job. They're doing anything to get fired, do the safe guy instead of doing the aggressive thing. It's like Dennis Allen is like trying to burn the world down. Like, how does he have any self-preservation instincts of wanting to stay in this job? Does not seem to make sense to me.
I mean, a leopard can't change her spots. Also, he probably feels pretty safe there with their GM. Like those are two pretty safe people. Like Loomis isn't ever probably getting fired with the ownership there in New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, I will. At least my Kendre Miller bags didn't show up on the screenshot anymore for looking at my highest drafted there. All right, what do we got? Thick thighs save lives. Greg and Pete do a public service announcement raising awareness for this important issue, or draft a player getting camp hype this offseason. Greg, I will let you kick off this commercial, and I will be right behind you here. Thick thighs save lives. Let's go to commercial.
When you're stranded or you're in need of medical attention and you need someone to carry you, you don't want some string bean-legged Nick Rudman type picking you up and trying to carry you to the nearest hospital. You want someone with thick, sturdy legs who can carry you for 1,000 miles. Someone like Najee Harris, someone like Tyler Algier, someone like Jalen Warren, someone like Cordero Patterson, someone like Mike Davis, someone like Zamir White, someone who's fucking jacked on the bottom, brother.
I see so many of these lost souls thinking about fading a Saquon Barkley in the second round, thinking about not selecting AJ Dillon with their last pick. Follow the thighs. These thighs save lives. You want to look at something that has a predictive track record for saving lives. It is the thickest of thighs. Beautiful. I think we did it. A lot of players in there that, as we said them all, were probably bad picks. So maybe there is a bad correlation between super thick thighs. I got to show a picture of Redmond's legs so he can marvel. Yeah, I'd like to. Oh, shit. Who do you want? Wan'Dale Robinson, Marshawn Lloyd. Shit. We're going to get timed out.
Wandale.
Who did you want?
Oh, that's all right. Gibson's fine.
Gibson?
Can we be done there at running back then?
The best ball bro line. Can we be done there at running back? Yeah, you're up to 5. Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson. I just thought you wanted the correlation with DeMario Douglas, No,
I like that because we need a third quarterback. We can get Drake May.
I started daydreaming about all of these thick thighs and forgot we were on the clock. We're going to spin here 3 more prompts here for Greg. I know if it wasn't 3:54 p.m. on a Thursday, I would do my penalty shot.
What a life.
Or I should eat some string beans. Put a Colt McCoy in the queue. Pete and Greg must summon the ghost of fantasy season future to learn which 17 game you need. If the chat agrees, draft who you want. I don't know if you have a Ouija board, what kind of seance you want to do, but can you help us figure out which 17 game is the one we need?
Washington, Atlanta. Washington, Atlanta.
I see Kyle Pitts touchdowns brought back by Terry McLaurin in a shootout here.
Tyler Algier is the guy.
Oh no, Bijan Robinson. I see a disturbance. Oh, Tyler Algier is getting all 30 carries projected by that Falcons beat reporter. Holy shit. Is that Jaden Daniels?
80 yards rushing, 2 deep bombs to Terry McLaurin.
Oh my goodness. This game has gone so bonkers that even Ray McLeod has gotten in on the mix. Ray McLeod doing the Dirty Bird celebration in the end zone.
It's the highest scoring game in NFL history.
Holy cow, 69-54. Diami Brown has 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh my God.
Everyone who only picked Falcons and Commanders just won.
Luke McCaffrey just did a backflip on a pick six. They put him, he was so versatile. They put him in on defense and he picked off Kirk Cousins. This game has gone truly bonkers. You need this game to win Best Ball Mania, Greg.
Zach Ertz threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Ben Sennett. Maybe he's not blocking tight ends. Maybe he's aiding them this year.
All right. 17 seconds left. I will not let you time out this time. Wan'Dale Robinson, likely Otten. You probably wide receiver, tight end. You got a tight end here you like? Likely Otten Sinnott, Jonnu?
I like likely.
Okay, let's do likely here. Likely and Kyle Pitts. That's an athletic tight end room right there.
Baltimore. We're gonna need a third tight end here, though, right? With
probably
likely.
Yeah. So you got the 2-5-7-2. You could maybe go a third quarterback, but you got Goff and Cousins. You got 5 running backs. You got the 7 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. See, I don't know, probably what? One more tight end, one more receiver, ideally.
Is that how many picks we have left? 2 picks or 3 picks?
2 picks. 2 picks.
Ooh.
Decisions here.
I mean, that's a pretty weak quarterback room there.
Yeah, let's see. Do you have any other stack options? I guess Bo Nix with Javonte. Well, that's kind of a stretch. Drake May is gone.
Yeah, unfortunate.
When is your prediction on when the Patriots announce Drake May as the starter?
Ooh. I mean, honestly, he could wrap it up this week and be the starter week 1. I'm going to say week 1.
Like right as we head into, like, will they slow roll us on the announcement, or after this preseason game, they just say, all right, we're not messing around?
So in the Coachspeak Index private Discord yesterday, I dropped notes from the presser where Gerard Mayo said that they want to make the decision by Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, he did offer that in there. That's the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. So we are going to know sooner rather than later. You think, did he say how much Drake May we would expect to see in this last preseason game?
I don't think he said the usage. He said something like kind of weird that I'll pull up here real quick.
Yeah.
All the QBs will play in the preseason finale. The amount of time they get will be a little different than last week's game, but I'm going to keep that close to the vest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. It does. I wrote about it today in the Fantasy Life newsletter. It's our last domino to fall. You know, all these round 1 quarterbacks, we kind of have it all, figured out at this point. Nick starting, Daniel starting, Williams starting, Michael Penix, redshirt year, McCarthy out for the year. And now it's just Drake May. That's the last one we need to get figured out here. All right, here it is. One of our last 2 prompts, the Coachspeak Easy. Greg describes a drink named for a phrase commonly said by an NFL coach of his choosing or drafts a tall drink of water here. Can you think of any phrases that would make for a good drink name, a cocktail name?
Okay. Man. All right, it's the one game at a time.
Yep.
And it's wild turkey. It's a game bird.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And you have it. It's like a pyramid of shots.
Oh God. Oh, and you got to do them one at a time until the entire pyramid is gone.
Got to do them one at a time, and while you're doing them, you really want to think about a pyramid, and it's sort of like a team, right? You start with the bottom. You have this foundation that supports, everybody else. It's everybody together. And
is it 17 shots for each game, one game at a time until you're down the whole regular season?
No, you actually it's 20. It's 20 because it's the post.
You're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We're winning this thing, baby.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I do think we're gonna have to go 3D with this pyramid to structurally make it work. All right, round 17 pick on the clock. Who do you want? You want to look at the tight ends, wide receivers, Quentin Johnson, Parkinson, Boyd, Roman Wilson, Chark, Chig, or we could scroll down.
Interesting. Let's scroll down. What about Casey Washington?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Talk to me about Casey Washington here. Is this just because we heard that this is the game you need from
Yeah.
our cult heroes?
Yeah, we have Brian Robinson Jr. there.
What's
And
the buzz been on him? Should I stop the random Ray click and take Casey instead?
there's been no real buzz because there've been no real questions from the Atlanta beat writers on any of these players. We haven't heard a Kyle Pitts question in months.
I know. All right. Final one here. Coach FUD Index. Greg gives his best impression of a coach describing a player who they think sucks to the media without saying it straight out. If the impression doesn't please Peter, draft Kendre Miller. Greg gives his impression of a coach describing a player who they think sucks to the media without saying it straight out. So maybe this is one where I have to guess it as well.
That we're drafting?
No, I think this can be anyone. But I do have to put Kendre Miller in just in case.
Okay. Oh my God.
And I have to guess this.
I mean, he had a good game. I was there. I saw it in person. He really fucked us up. Okay. I've seen the talent there. I've seen the talent. Has anyone else seen the talent? That's for them to say. I'm not medically qualified to say whether someone has seen the talent, but I've seen it. I've been there. Okay. Now, whether that talent will show up on the field this year, I can't say. I'm not oracally qualified, medically qualified. I'm not currently qualified. I have no qualifications on the matter. I'm only in charge of everything. That's the only thing that I'm qualified to do is everything is, I only know everything about this organization and this player, but I'm absolutely not telling you one shred of it. Anyway, he's a good-ish player.
Okay, the medical stuff at first I was like, is this Sean Payton talking about Tim Patrick? But I think he likes Tim Patrick. Any other clues for me here? Someone in the chat said QJ. Is it QJ?
QJ.
Okay, there it is. I think you are gonna have to draft Kendre Miller because I failed.
Oh, no.
I failed. Yeah, you were cooking with such a nice team. He had the one good game. Do you buy what do you think of that narrative? The one game that Quentin Johnston torched Harbaugh when he was at TCU.
This has come up multiple times with general manager Joe Ortiz going on Up and Adams with Kay Adams, and then a Greg Roman presser that we had recently where both of them referenced how they've talked with Jim Harbaugh about that Michigan TCU game where Quentin Johnston went absolutely nutso for a bunch of catches and like almost 200 yards or something, a couple touchdowns. And that obviously plays into the way that he views this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. What about Brendan Rice? You buying him as a little late round dart?
Man, I like him more than DJ Chark.
Yeah,
who's just not a good player. Jim Harbaugh's depth charts are fairly fluid, so the best players hopefully will see the field. So hopefully Kamani Vidal is going to see the field a little bit this year.
Yeah.
What are your Vidal bags?
I think I actually saw it today in Best Ball Mania. I'm at like 9%. I had like stopped drafting him, when everyone else kind of did too, and he plummeted. And now started to click him a little bit more now that we have confirmation he exists.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, he does. And it's like I've been, what I've done on a few teams. I've been taking Dobbins and Vidal together. And just being like, I'll bet against us and see if it's one of these guys.
I like that. I mean, we could see very different things for Gus Edwards now that he's not with a quarterback who's a danger to rip off 60-yard runs at any given point.
All right, I'm going to recap this team. You did pretty good. We had a timeout on my end. We had maybe just one or two prompts that you failed, but for the most part, a pretty stellar performance here. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, who you have both stacked up, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, Antonio Gibson, and unfortunately, Kendre Miller. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Rashee Rice, Jamison Williams, Jordan Whittington, Demario Douglas, Casey Washington, tight ends, Kyle Pitts, and Isaiah Likely. How did you do here?
I mean, I don't love the tight ends and the QB,
Yeah.
but not terrible. And that
No.
and that's my standard for best ball or for best ball teams is just not terrible, right?
Yeah. What who do you have? Or are you keeping it behind the paywall? Last year you had a ton of Puka Nakua. Who's our late round dart? We need to start clicking a ton right now.
Well, the late round dart was Jalen McMillian, but he is
That's over.
way out of there. I mean, Jalen Naylor, absolutely. I definitely doesn't have like the Puka upside, but this is a guy that's going to play a ton this year for the Vikings. I think he's won that wide receiver 3 job like pretty clearly. But as far as just upside darts, I think Casey Washington is an interesting one. I think Malik Washington from Miami is a really interesting one. Odell Beckham's still not practicing there, and I understand they want to keep him kind of in bubble wrap or whatever until the season. But I think there's a real chance that he's just a better player than Odell at this point in Odell's career. And it's a pretty nice offense to be attached to. He's just another yak guy, like another big yak guy that Miami has. So, I mean, you roll him out there with Jonnu and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane, like Jesus Christ, like who?
It's going to be fun.
Who's going to cover him?
And you got a Coke dealer drawing up the plays. I mean, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Greg, let the people know. Everyone's familiar with the Twitter account, but let them know what you got going on with the Discord. Obviously, you got the YouTube, the podcast feed. Anything else?
Coachspeak Index on Twitter, YouTube. The link to the Discord is in our bio on Twitter. And yeah, just a lot of crucial info on the Twitter and even more in the Discord. It's just all day. I'm watching 40 hours worth of press conferences every week, putting all the most important information from those press conferences directly into those team threads. So you will know exactly what the hell is going on with all these players.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. Hop in there, check out and support what Greg is doing. Again, reminder, next week, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, it is the Randomizer season finale, but it's not going to look like a typical Randomizer show. We're going to play a spinoff of a family feud called Fantasy Feud. We got 2 teams, Team ETR, which is going to be Evan Silva, Mike Leone, and John Daigle versus a team ship chasing of Ben Gretsch, Pat Carrain, and Davis Maddock. I'll be doing the Steve Harvey impersonation. We are wrapping up the survey results right now. We do have those pinned in the Discord. If you're in the ship chasing, or just go to the announcements of the Deposit Kingdom Discord, you can fill out that and be part of the survey that we are going to have on the show. And it's going to be a ton of fun. Otherwise, for me, we're doing the high stakes draft tonight over on ship chasing with Sean Siegel. That's going to kick off at 7 p.m. Otherwise, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to Greg. Thank you to the writers team. As always, Matthew and Lou and Nick, all kinds of great work helping us get some awesome prompts. And also to everyone who submitted prompts this week. John Warner had a couple bangers in there. So thank you guys, as always, for making this show a great time. We will see you next time.